What's going on, everybody? Red Velvet's back in the studio, and today I have a very special guest joining me via satellite. He is the coach of Byron Cox Post 72 American Legion Baseball. Kyle Proctor, how are we doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I've been excited for this interview because I'm learning a whole new sport, basically. You're the coach of Post 72, and it was a pleasure to cover the team this season and just meet the kids that random time at the golf course in the mall. So it's just been a fun time, and I'm excited to learn. So real quick, I want to, let's get to know Coach Proctor. So growing up, tell us a little bit about your background.
Okay. Growing up, ever since a little kid, played baseball. We had leagues that went all the way in our small town to 15 years old. We called it a Babe Ruth then, but it wasn't the same Babe Ruth that's up northwest corner of the state. After that, at 16, 17, 18, I was assistant coach, helped the coach there at the same Babe Ruth program. He'd been there, I think he ended up with 28 years on there, helped him, and then went to college and played baseball. Coached a year in college, and then came back to Indiana, coached assistant coach JV at North Montgomery High School, and then was out of it for about 15 years. And then life happened, and I got hired at Fountain Central High School in Petersburg, Indiana for 2 years, and then went to coach at North Montgomery again, and then took over the Crawfordsville American Legion baseball program.
Okay. Now, Babe Ruth, we used to have a Babe Ruth league here in town. I want to say like 6th, 7th grade all the way up to freshman year, kind of around about. Is that?
Yeah. Back then it was, now it's completely different. Like I said, in the Northwest part of Indiana, it's a whole new ball game. They go to 19 now. So it kind of competes with American Legion a little bit.
Okay.
But mainly that's up in that area. We don't see a lot of it south of maybe Valparaiso area, maybe Crown Point, but everything else back in the day was 13 to 15-year-old was your Babe Ruth league.
Okay. Yeah, and that we don't even have a Babe Ruth league anymore. It seems to stop, 10 years old.
Yeah.
Rec league's done, and you got to go to the next level. So you said you played in college. Where did you play college ball?
I played 1 year at Manchester University, and then 3 years at Lincoln Christian University in Illinois.
Okay. Lincoln, where's that at in Illinois?
Well, it doesn't exist anymore. They closed it last year, but it's in Lincoln, Illinois.
Oh, okay. So what got you into coaching? What made you say, I want to go do this?
I think I've always loved the fundamentals of baseball and playing the game the right way, doing the little things, teaching the little things. So just organizing a team to see what we can do.
Okay.
I just like the challenge of going out there and competing with other coaches and other teams and seeing what happens.
Okay. Back in your playing days, did you have a favorite memory at all?
I'll probably call my shot. We're in Atlanta in a game, and it was 4-4. I think we're in the 14th inning or something like that, and we were exhausted because every game we played was a doubleheader. And umpire's like, "Can we get this game over with?" I said, "Fine, I'll just hit one out." And I did. It was shocking. I didn't realize I was going to do that, but yeah, it was shocking.
That's awesome. You called your own shot and 14
shot. I didn't point though. I didn't do the Babe Ruth.
You just said, "Fine, I'll hit a home run. We're done."
I said, "Fine, I'll hit a home run and end this thing."
So, coming back to Illinois, you went back to North Montgomery, correct?
Yeah, when I came back from coaching at Lincoln Christian, I took over for the head coach for a year, and then came back to North Montgomery High School to coach junior varsity with a friend of mine that was already the coach.
Okay.
And then, like I said, after that was year 2000. I think they were runner up in state that year, and then I was out of it, working jobs and having a family for 15 years.
Okay. And then, so how did the American Legion baseball come onto your radar?
Well, so I coached 1 year with the head coach of North Montgomery. We just continued on from spring into summer. That year after that, the they just called and said they weren't going to have a team anymore. And I'm like, why are we not having a team anymore? I mean, I played for Crawfordsville Post 72 when I was a kid. And I was like, why are we not having a team? I mean, that's kind of Crawfordsville is kind of one of the founding teams around here. And so they're like, well, we don't have a coach. And I'm like, well, I'll do it. And then we're just stuck with it ever since.
Okay. What year was that?
Well, this is going to be in 27. It'll be year 9. So
Okay.
probably 18-ish.
Okay. So can we go into the history of the American Legion baseball? Because once again, this is all brand new.
Okay.
How did that even become a thing?
American Legion baseball was actually started 101 years ago. We celebrated our 100th anniversary last year.
Okay.
Nationwide. It started in South Dakota. If you look over, if you look at teams there, Minnesota has 500 some teams. Indiana was around 20. That's not including the Junior Legion. But Indiana, they got a Legion team, I think, in 1926, if I remember right. And then just kept building from there. Pre-COVID, I think we were at 50 some teams. I know when I was younger, there was enough teams that we had sectional and then regional and then state finals. Now, after COVID, it hit us because we didn't play, travel ball did. So we lost a lot there. I think the most we had 29 teams a few years ago, and I think this year we had 20.
Okay. You mentioned Junior Legion ball. What is Junior Legion ball?
Okay, Junior Legion ball there is a huge gap between Junior Legion and Senior Legion. Senior Legion is usually your 18, 19 year olds, whether it be the college, first year college players that are still young enough to play, or it is kids that are going to college to play. You can go as low as 13 in Senior Legion, but who wants a 13-year-old playing against a 19-year-old?
Yeah, no kidding.
So they started a thing called Junior Legion, which is basically 13 to 16-ish.
Okay.
16 can go either way. They did make a rule a few years ago that you can be dual rostered, so you can be on the junior and senior team if you're 16. So if the senior team has players that won't be there, somebody gets hurt, you can pull up a junior kid.
Okay.
We don't have a junior team in Crawfordsville.
Okay. I don't know of any team that has a junior team because that's the first time I ever heard about it.
Yeah, there's quite a few of them in the state. Illinois is kind of bigger in that they have more junior teams than they do senior teams. But it's growing in Indiana. I know Kokomo up northwest has several of them. All those teams have a lot of them.
I got you. Now with the senior division, does it go up to? You cannot be 20, or because there's some college kids, there's not, and
you can't. So the rule is kind of weird. Usually you have a rule that if you turn, 20 after a certain time in the year, you can still play. Well, that doesn't happen with American Legion baseball. If you turn 20 in the current year, so anybody that turned 20 in 2026 could not play this year.
Okay.
So next year, anybody that turns 20 in the year 2027 can't play. So that's even if it's December 31st, you can't play.
Okay. So it's just grade wise, like a college freshman is about at the end.
Yeah. And some college freshmen are too old anyway. It's just, you just have to fall in that age group.
Okay. So the American Legions. So how does an American Legion form a team? Because we had one in Brazil last year, but not now.
Right.
How does one just happen?
So originally back in January, Clay City or Clay County was what it was called in Brazil. They were going to have a team. Okay. Their coach told me right at the end, because they were in our tournament that we hosted. We had games scheduled with them, and he basically told us at the end that his kids were tired, didn't want to play in the summer, and they disbanded their team. So basically, you try to find a post that will sponsor you. And you form a team.
Okay. So just the Legion, and the Legion, they're the sponsor. They kind of front a lot of the costs so that it's cheaper for the players, or?
Well, it depends on which one. We're very fortunate in Crawfordsville that they take very, 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 very good care of us.
Okay.
Lots of money, lots of support. But some teams, I know Lafayette, you have to pay $700 to play per kid. We don't charge anything. And like we have 5 uniforms, and
Oh my.
they pay for all the meals, all the drinks and travel and hotels, all that stuff. So it just depends on how your post wants to do it. Some of us are blessed. Some of them struggle a little bit and have to do a lot of fundraisers.
Oh wow. You're very fortunate to have a good legion that
Right.
takes care of
Yeah.
your team. I mean, that's 5 uniforms, and I'm sure they get dirty. I saw your post on Instagram of somebody doing laundry in the shower.
Yeah, that was my wife. She follows. She's basically our backbone of our team. She does about everything, and she was, I guess, the red clay down in Rockport was very, very potent, I guess if you want to call it that. And she had to spend an hour scrubbing it in the shower before we could put it in the washer to try to
Oh,
wash that stuff out of it.
oh, she's a saint.
Right.
I don't know if my wife, she'd just throw it away, but you just don't have pants.
Yeah. Yeah. Go get new ones, right?
Yeah. So how are these Legion post teams named? Like, so we got Byron Cox and post 72. 346 is Wayne Newton. I thought that was the guy in Las Vegas. So
Oh no.
I was like,
Yeah, Byron Cox, from what I understand, I mean, obviously he's deceased, but he was, I think, if I remember right, and I could be wrong, but he might have been the first Montgomery County veteran to be killed in World War I or II. I can't remember which one it was. And so they just named a post after him. I don't know how they get the numbers. If it's random, then it's pretty cool because Speedway is post 500 with the Indianapolis 500. So, I mean, it's either very big coincidence or they pick numbers. I don't know how that works.
right. Well, I was always curious because I couldn't picture Wayne Newton coming from Las Vegas to.
No, Wayne Newton has something to do with Terre Haute.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just not sure. I don't know their history.
Right. Right.
Being from down there, you'd have to ask one of them.
Oh yeah. So how are like players selected? I mean, it's mainly the Crawfordsville area. A couple, I think you get a Covington kid. But how do you select kids for?
Well, each team's different how they select them. Some of them they do tryouts in the fall. Us in Crawfordsville, and especially me, I'm not a believer in that because kids can get so much bigger, better, faster over the winter if you get some weight programs or whatever. They really put the effort into it. So, you know, you'd hate to set a roster early and then you have good kids that come out because they just got better because they worked at it.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of time, you know, my wife and I and some of the coaches will go to 30 to 40 high school games in the spring and kind of watch the players and see which ones we think will fit. And then we choose them.
Okay.
If they want to play, then they sign up. If they don't, we go on to the next one. But there are some rules. You know, they have to be closer to your base school, which our base school is North Montgomery.
Okay.
I know that Terre Haute's base school is Terre Haute North. You know, like I said, Brazil was Clay City, I think was theirs.
Mm-hmm.
So if the player lives closer to your base school than the other one, then you get first dibs at them.
Okay. Okay. I was doing a quick research and quote, and please correct me if I'm wrong. It said you scouted like 91 players one year.
This year, we actually scouted 91 players.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
it was a lot.
Yeah.
Well, normally, especially the last few years, you know, they age out. So coming into this year, we had 13 roster spots to fill out of the 18.
Wow.
The year before, it was 16. We're fortunate enough this year that we have several come back, so we only have 7 or 8 spots we need to fill, and several kids that want to play.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
It's going to be good.
Well, and especially like we're in a time now where travel ball is everybody wants to go play travel. I mean, so what are the difference between Legion and travel?
So travel ball has its good things. I don't think it's as competitive, at least at the lower levels. I know that travel ball originally started with the Indiana Bulls in Indiana. 2 brothers in Crawfordsville. They kind of started it with a group of investors. But that was when, you know, the Scott Rowlands and Todd Dunwoody's and those guys, all of them ended up going and playing pro baseball. They played there. They were the elite.
Okay.
They traveled the country and played. But just like anything, you know, you get dads upset because Johnny didn't make the team, so they create their new team and they pick all their guys. And then, Fred's upset because his boy didn't make that team, so they create a new one. And next thing you know, you have 3,000 teams, and some of them are just awful, and some of them are pretty decent.
It spirals out of control.
Yeah, it does. And most of the time, dads coach that, so their kid may be bad, but he's still going to be the shortstop and pitcher, bat first in the lineup, and that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
But there are some travel ball teams. I know Canes and Nitro and stuff, and Bulls. They've got some top tier teams that can compete. Normally travel ball teams are a certain age group, so they're either 17, 16, 15. Some of them, I don't think very many of them have 18-year-olds. That's why they usually come to the Legion after that.
Okay.
But I know they pay a lot to play. Parents will spend $5,000 to $7,000 a summer to play. With hotels and all that stuff. But my son played travel ball for a couple of years when he was really little, and it wasn't that much to play. And they did fundraisers to pay for that. But after that, it was like, nah, we're not paying $1,000 to go to this hotel this week, and we're not doing that.
I don't blame you.
And we've been in some travel ball tournaments. We went to one in Decatur a few years ago. I think there's 36 teams in there and 4 Legion teams. And at the end of the day, the 4 Legion teams were in the finals, the Final Four. And I think we outscored our opponents 71-5 for the whole week. I mean, yeah. And it was just, when they show up, you're like, oh man, I mean, they're all decked out and all this gear, and got sponsors everywhere, and the parents are bringing in mega RVs and all this stuff to play. And then you're like, man, we're gonna get our butts kicked. And then you come out and it's not very good. So, that's the experience we've had. Every travel ball tournament we've been in, we've won it easily. So we just don't even, some of them, they kick us out and don't let us come back. And other ones, we just decide it's not a good idea.
I find that comical because we play a lot of rec all-stars with my daughters in softball, and they are notorious for kicking travel ball teams out. It's hard for me to imagine travel ball kicking you guys out because they're just too good.
Yeah, we're not allowing Legion teams in here anymore.
That is awesome. I mean, I can't believe I am shocked. Usually I figure travel teams are like, oh, well, we'll take you on. Let's go. And then
they do, and then they put their tail between their legs and walk away at the end. It's usually not good for them.
Well, I know I'm still new to this whole baseball scene anyway, but to me, I remember being a kid and Legion, like a lot of the top players in our area, they played Legion ball. Like they might have played travel ball too, but I just didn't pay attention. But I just remember seeing the newspaper, Legion ball, Legion ball, Legion ball, and it was like the top tier athletes. So I was just like, why would you, if you have this opportunity to go to a Legion and like a Post 72, they take care of stuff for you. Yeah. Like, why would you want to go somewhere else? And you're going to play with collegiate players, top tier high school athletes, and you're going to play against the same caliber. So I'm just like, why would you go somewhere else?
I mean, you have some bad Legion teams too. Some towns, though, and I'm not going to name them, but there's some towns, several in Illinois, that because there's a lot more teams in Illinois, and I think a lot of it's kind of the same way as that we said with travel ball, is their kid didn't make it, so we're going to go to our post and we're going to find a new one and start a new one, and then they're just not very competitive. I can tell you that Danville, Illinois, Post 210 over there, I mean, they start sponsoring little kids from 8 years old. So they're Post 210. They're not, obviously not American Legion rules, but, eligible, but they're Post 210 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 12-year-old, and it goes all the way up. They have a junior team and a senior team, and they do it the right way over there. There's a travel ball team in our town in Crawfordsville that it's called the Indiana Thunder, and they go to 16, and we kind of use that somewhat as our filler program.
Okay. Almost like, I don't want to say developmental, but kind of like a developmental.
I mean, there's a lot of things we have to change when they get to us. There's some fundamental issues, base running issues, and it takes a year or two usually if we end up choosing one of them to get them to do it the right way.
I got you. I got you. So the IHSA just dropped some new rules for travel teams, and I'm still trying to decipher it because the lingo is awful, and I'm not that smart. So can you go into detail a little bit about that?
So there is a rule, and I'll get into it a little bit more here after I say it. But one of the rules is that a team in the summer cannot have more than 5 players from the same school on their team. That doesn't include kids that have graduated. So basically, I think it's a way to keep schools from saying we're going to have a summer team,
Okay.
and you have to play with us, and you're playing the whole time. I don't know why they do that. I'm not in the IHSAA thing. I'm not a high school coach anymore and haven't been for 10 years. So I'm not sure why it's that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know that American Legion does have a waiver from the IHSAA that rule does not apply to us.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That is all. That's good because I was like, how does that change everything?
Yeah, I mean, in Crawfordsville, we don't have 5 kids from the same school, especially because, like I said, if they've graduated, and that doesn't count.
Okay.
So we're so spread out, like with different high schools and things, that we don't have to worry about that. But there's other ones like up in the Northwest, that like Valparaiso and South Haven up in there, they can only draw from a few schools. So if that rule did fit in with them, they would have a real problem with having a team. And I think that would really hurt Legion baseball.
Yeah. Well, that would be, that's right. We're looking at that with we have a 14U all-star softball team out of our rec league, and it's like they'll go to one school. So that's going to pose a little bit of a problem. So what all schools is Post 72 pulling from?
So
this past season?
It depends. Like I said, it all depends on if you're closer to North Montgomery than you are one of the other Legion Post-based schools. There are things called waivers that you can get if the team that's closer to their address doesn't want them. Then they can sign a waiver and they can come play for somebody else, like another team, the next team that's closer.
Okay.
I think this year, without looking, hold on, I got a roster right here so I can actually tell you. We had Clinton Central, which that was a waiver. He was closer to Kokomo. Their team was full, so they signed a waiver so he could come with us. North Montgomery, we had a McCutcheon kid, which is actually closer to Lafayette. However, he was a college player that came back. So there is a rule in Legion baseball that after you graduated, if you played for a Legion Post prior, then you can come back to that same Legion Post if you're a freshman in college.
Okay.
We had Covington, Greencastle, Danville, Indiana, Seeger, which that was another sign off. That was he was 3 miles closer to Lafayette.
Oh, okay.
Crawfordsville, Lebanon, Western Boone. Those are the schools that we drew from this year.
Okay. That's very diverse. So that's pretty cool. But
and we did there was going to be a Clay County kid on our team, the coach's kid, but he decided it was too far of a drive to come up here all the time. So.
Oh, wow. Nice. So let's recap the season. I mean, Post 72 was pretty good this year.
Yeah, we had one of our best seasons we've had in a long time. Most wins that I've had in my 8 years. We 25-12, finished third in the state. The only other time we were closer is 21 when we finished runner-up. But we were kind of in the same boat. We were one game away each time because in 2021 we were in the finals with Rockport, but we had to beat Rockport twice, and they beat us in the first game. This year, there were 3 teams left, us, Valparaiso, and Terre Haute, that all just had 1 loss. So whoever won the Valparaiso and our game played Terre Haute for the championship, and it unfortunately was Valparaiso. Mm-hmm. But yeah, 25-12 was a good record. Out of the 12 losses, 7 of them were 1-run games that we lost. I think we're 5-7 in 1-run games. We were young, so it was very rewarding because that being so young, we're usually not that young, and for them to be able to play with upper teams and actually beat some upper teams. It was very good. The chemistry with the players. I mean, usually it takes a week or two to get that started. This was right off the bat. Everybody was supporting each other, and it was just the parents were supportive. The kids they listened. They were coachable. They were supportive of each other, whether they were playing or not. I mean, yeah, if you're not playing, you're going to be upset a little bit, but that's part of it. And it was just overall a great year.
It was a lot of fun. I think I went to 3 games. I went to one. You played 346 in the regular season. Then you played, I think it was Speedway in the regional tournament, and then you played 346 in the championship. And I got to commend your parents. The 3 games I was at, they were all supportive. There was no, this coach should be doing this, they should be doing that. They were nothing was going. They were just supporting their children, and that's rare. Like in sporting events that I've been to, it's just very rare. So I got to give a props to your parents. That's awesome.
Yeah, they were great parents this year. They supportive. I mean, you're never going to completely agree with everything that we do, but our coaching staff is very experienced. I think all but one, maybe most of us played college baseball and have been around the game for a long time. One of my assistant coaches used to be a high school coach. He's been in the Legion program. Next year will be his 24th year. So we've been around it, and we tell them at the very beginning that you don't pay to play, so you have to earn your playing time.
Yep, that's true. That's true. So looking ahead for next summer's Legion team, I mean, you got any plans yet that you can?
Well, we started actually last Tuesday was when we were eliminated in the final day of the state finals. And I got a call Wednesday of teams wanting to schedule us already for 2027. I'm like, can you give me a little bit of a break here, guys? A couple days, So we have, I think we're going to plan a trip up north as one of our goals. This year we went down south in June, went down to Evansville and played Princeton there at Oakland City. We played Rockport and Funkhauser at the University of Southern Indiana, and then we got to play at Bosse Field against Oberfeld. Bosse was a fun place. Do you know what Bosse is?
Yeah.
So the 3rd oldest stadium in the United States. We played there, and it was fun. The coaching staff was, if we come back 2-2, we'd be excited. We came back 4-0. But I think we've been west, we've been east. We haven't been north very much. So we're thinking maybe going up, to Michigan a little bit and playing some teams up there. I know Midland, Michigan is always good. I know they're in the national regional this week. So, maybe pick a game with them and see what we can do.
Now, so with Legion, you can schedule just about anywhere. Or how does the scheduling happen?
Yeah, I mean, the scheduling, you do it yourself. So everything with Legion ball, you basically have to do yourself. So get your team, all your business stuff, as far as insurance, all that has to be done. The coach does that, or your manager. I just happen to do it all. But you got that. And then scheduling, you just schedule teams and go from there. Well, I think this year we played 37 games, but we have some home games, and we play during the week too. So, travel ball is usually the weekends only, and we play all the time.
Yeah. No, I think you had like a Tuesday or Wednesday, and then you'd play like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, depending how it broke down. So how does the tournaments go? You had the regional, and then you enter the state tournament.
Yeah. So the regional, it's usually selected. It's supposed to be in the winter meetings when they decide where regional is going to be. If not, they'll do it in the spring because they have 3 conferences that we go to. There's a fall conference, a winter, and a spring. Usually the winter conference is where they decide where the state finals are going to be, and you have to actually bid for those. Okay. But it goes north, south, north, south, north, south. So next year it'll be somewhere in the northern region, which they call north of I-70, the northern region. Okay. I know there's a couple teams that are going to try to bid for it. We aren't. We did it last year. So we're going to see if somebody else wants it for 2027, and we might try again in 29.
Okay. So then after state, it's the national regional, correct?
Yeah, after state, the winner. So in regional, because of where the regionals are, there's 4 regionals in Indiana. So the winner and the runner-up go to the state finals.
Okay.
Of each regional. That's if the host isn't one of those. If they're one of those, they go automatically. So when you bid,
Really?
you're automatically in it.
Oh.
I know in 2027, I mean, we had to bid $8,000 to get it. And then I don't know, as 5,000 or 6,000 they bid this year in Rockport to get it. So it just depends on, I think the lowest bid you can do is 4,000, and that pays for umpires and the hotel room for the commissioner.
Okay.
But so the regionals are selected, you go there, the winner and the runner up go to the state finals. The state finals, you go there when whoever bid for it and won the bid. There's 8 teams that go there, and you play until there's a champion, and then that starts the national regional, which is we're in the Great Lakes region. Okay. And so you get Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky. The national regional has to bid for it to host it, but it's a 2-year bid, and there's certain stipulations you have to have, like a field has to be at least so many dimensions, like feet wise. Mm-hmm. I don't think other than Wabash College in Montgomery County, we don't have a field that's big enough. But Wabash doesn't have lights, so we can't host it there. So anyway, so after that, like I said, it goes to the national regional. Lexington, Kentucky will have it this year, next year. And I know the bid's astronomical, like $40,000-$50,000.
Woo!
And they host it, and they get to go automatically.
Okay.
And then the World Series is in Shelby, North Carolina every year. And it is televised on ESPN. Nice. Last year, there was an Indiana team that went. They won the regional, but it was actually the runner-up of our state got selected because the winner of our state, which was Evansville Funkhauser, their players ended up having to go to college, so they couldn't go. And so they took the runner-up, which was Rockport, and Rockport ended up winning the national regional and went to the World Series. I think finished 4th.
That's awesome.
So that you're that close. I mean, like I said, we've been close. We've never made it past the state, but hopefully we do one of these days.
Yeah. So there's Legion teams all over the country in all 50 states.
Yeah. I mean, all 50 states and Puerto Rico.
Okay.
And I know it's American Legion, but Canada has some teams. So, which is weird. But anyway,
the Canadian American Legion.
Yeah, Canadian American Legion. But no, like I said, some places you go to Pennsylvania and Minnesota. I mean, there's 400 or 500 teams up there, just in their state. So they're travel ball's not as big up there. Mm-hmm. And then Iowa's got it all jacked up. They play their American Legion first in the spring, and then they play their high school season in the summer after they graduated.
That's weird.
I know, it is weird.
That is pretty jacked up there. I don't know. Oh well. When we get to the World Series, how many teams are we looking at in that part of it?
I think there's still 8 in that team. I mean, because you got your 8 regions that they go. You got Northwest, the Pacific, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
You got your Great Lakes. You got your Northeast, Southeast. So I think there's 8 teams out of those. The winner of each region goes. So.
Okay. You got me wanting to do some research when we get done here.
Yeah.
American Legion baseball. I didn't realize it was around 101 years.
Yeah. Last year was our 100th year, and then we incorporated that with about everything we did last year. So 101 years this year.
Very cool. I got some final questions for you. I mean, favorite memory as a coach. What's that one?
Oh, I mean, this year has a lot to do with it, but I think that my best memories are just the kids that you watch continue. Mm-hmm. You watch them go into college. And a few years later, you see where they're at. 3 of my assistant coaches all played for me, and came back to play. I mean, we're not paid. So, to do that and that time and effort,
Yeah.
to come back. I mean, one of them's been with me for 6 years, another one 2, and going to be his third. And so it's a lot of money that we pay out of our pockets to coach. Use all of our PTO time from from work and all that stuff. So, but I would think that, because you look, I mean, like Anderson University is their pitching coach is one of our alums. You go on, you look, like I said, Scott Rowland before, he played American Legion baseball, but you've got, once you do your research, you'll see there's like there's a bunch of Hall of Famers that played. I mean, Don Mattingly was one of them down there. But American Legion was where it was back in the day. And now I think it's coming back because people are realizing that the type of talent that we see is just as good as anywhere else.
Absolutely. Well, and it's just the tradition. That's what I like about the history and the tradition of the. Because I had somebody they posted a picture of an old Legion team from like the '90s. And it's like, here's this. I played Legion ball too, because I was talking about one of these Legion games. I'm like, that's awesome. Like, just seeing the memories of people. Like, oh yeah, I played then. It was a fun time. It's just it's cool. I'd like to dive more into it.
You come back and you coach the kids of players that you played with. So the parents are like, hey, I played with you. Remember me? Yeah, I remember you. We had a heck of a time. Legion was, and you'll get kids that I guess if you want to talk about one good story, there was a kid that I coached at North Montgomery that when I was a freshman, we tried to get him to play Legion baseball. Same thing as a sophomore. And he'd tell it, he's like, I'm never playing Legion baseball. It's dumb. There's no talent or whatever. I'm not playing. Don't ask me again, blah, blah. So senior year, he didn't have where to play after a senior year. And he's like, hey, you still let me play Legion ball? I'm like, well, wait a minute. I thought you didn't want to play Legion ball. There's no talent or whatever. I want to give it a try. And at the end of the season, after we lost, he was bawling his eyes out and said, I wish I would have known about this sooner. Because it's the most fun I've ever had playing baseball in my whole life. And it was competitive. It was a year that went to the state final, the championship game. And you get that with everybody. Man, I wish I'd known this would existed. Or, man, I wish I would have chose to play here before, and I didn't even know about it. And we try to get it out, but, we got social media. My wife is also the social media guru of the state of Indiana and Crawfordsville. So it's, she throws all that stuff on there. There's, I think a lot of your stuff might be on there too.
Might be.
Yeah. So
I gotta commend your wife on that. She does a great job with the social media. And it's just, you gotta keep going with it. Keep getting that information out there.
She spends a lot of time on there.
Yeah, and that's another question I have. It's more not really a question. It's, you need to thank your wife for everything she does.
Yeah, right. She knows. I mean, if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be able to do it. I mean, there's just no way. She's been with me since the beginning of it, and people don't realize how much work it takes from her and I, and the Post and the other coaches to keep it going and keep it at a top level.
Absolutely. Well, that's fantastic. I had another question that you just kind of left me. Anyway, we'll move on from that one. But Coach, I do thank you for taking the time to talk with me. Like, I've learned a lot about Legion baseball. Now I want to go research more and see
there you go.
What else is out there. And it's just, people need to play Legion baseball. It's competitive. If you've never been to a game, you need to go check it out, because I never went to a game until this year, and I went to 3, and I was like, this is cool. Like, it's a whole different element. And it's almost like a hidden gem right now, but it's starting to be.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, back in the day, it was if you were a top tier athlete in baseball, you played American Legion, and then it kind of went away for a while, but it's definitely coming back. And I can tell you, Valparaiso won our state this year, and I think 16 out of the 18 players were either already in college or going to college to play. I know several of our players this year were going to college to play, and even some of them got scholarships to play because of American Legion baseball this year.
Okay.
So there are coaches there because I hand out rosters all the time to college coaches that are at the games or whatever. I know one year we had some pro scouts at the games handing out rosters there, but when the pro scouts want them, it's a little different because they want more than just your paper roster.
Yeah.
I know their phone numbers, I want another email address, like, okay, hold on.
Yeah.
But yeah, American Legion baseball, I mean, you're welcome to come up, full access anytime you want to Crawfordsville next summer. We do have Buzz Sports Media that it does a lot of our games. They'll put it on YouTube so they can watch it. It's great because parents can watch it all over the United States on YouTube. And that was this is the first year we did it, a big success. A lot of ups and downs, like as far as learning. But they're fun to be with. They just live up the road from me, and
oh, cool.
And they put the games on there, and they're kind of just like you, just want to promote it and be a part of it.
Yeah, and I remember my question I was going to ask you, but first, like you have college kids coming back to play Legion Bowl. That right there, they could take the summer off and go train and prep for their college seasons, but they're coming back. So right. I think that speaks volumes in itself.
And we've tried to get the rule changed because if you notice, what do most college, high school seniors, they graduate, they go to college. What do they do their first year?
The red shirt.
They redshirt or they sit and don't play, right? And then the ones that are young enough that can come back, they get a full summer of other collegiate kids playing, other kids that are going to college playing against that. But the ones that are 20, they have nowhere to go. Mm-hmm. And we proposed a couple of times to go to 20 years old because, like I said, your sophomore year, after your sophomore year, you're probably going to either start playing or you're going to quit.
Yeah.
And, but the kids that graduate high school, they go to college, they sit for a season. If they're too old, they have nowhere to go. So they sit again. They don't see any live pitching. They can work on them stuff themselves or with a trainer or something like that. But still not the same as live games, and the reps. And then they go back to college and they're trying to compete again against the same people they did before, but they had nowhere to play. Mm-hmm. Because if you're going to sit your first year, you're not good enough to go to the prospect league and play for the Terre Haute Rex or the Lafayette Aviators or any of that, or the Kokomo Creek Chubs or whatever they are. But
I've learned that about like AA and the prospect. They all got weird names. Like
I know, yeah.
You got the Reading Fighting Phils, and they play in the Evansville Otters, and
Evansville Otters and Terre Haute Rex. I don't know what Rex is, other than maybe dinosaurs.
I think it's a T-Rex. I thought it was like recreation, but they have dinosaurs on their show.
Yeah, dinosaurs, I think. But yeah, I mean, but you got to be pretty decent to go play there. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not somebody that's going to sit all year and come play. Because we had a college kid last year that went to Indiana Wesleyan out of high school and came back to play for us, and it was 6 weeks before he could get back to what he was doing in high school because he hadn't played.
Oh yeah.
And so then they go back after that and compete, and he ended up transferring to IU Kokomo and had hit 300 this season as a sophomore. But at the same time, like I said, if you're 20, you're going home, you're sitting. Mm-hmm. You're going to go hit some balls off tees or maybe work on some stuff with a hired pitching coach or hired hitting coach, but it's not the live stuff. You're not going to get that. And then you go back as a sophomore and you're in the exact same boat, and you either figure it out or they cut you or you quit.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. My lost question, how is it? How does it feel? You're coaching for the same post that you played for.
Yeah. And the assistant coach has been there for 24 years. He was my coach as Legion.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So he was my head coach there, but a lot of things changed. We played when I was there in I was 95. We played in the park in Crawfordsville. There was light poles in the middle of center field. Still there. Animals ran across the field in the middle of the game. I remember my brother was playing outfield, and there was a skunk behind me. I was a second baseman. I didn't know it. And trying to find rocks and stuff to throw to get this skunk to spray me, and I kept hearing stuff land. I mean, what is going on? Turn around, there's a skunk. You know, they're laughing in the outfield, but you know, we had that, and you know, we're a little bit more spoiled now. You know, we got ham sandwiches. They get Texas Roadhouse. Yeah, so unbelievable how much money we spend on food. But you know, drinks and stuff. You drink water out of a hose or a cooler. Now they get bottled water and Gatorade and Powerade and body armor and special PDL lights and all kinds of stuff. You're like, they didn't have this stuff when I was a kid. It was hose water, dude, and that was it. But yeah, it was. The uniforms are a little different. They were hot. I mean, they were the wool, you know, real heavy things, kind of like what Terre Haute still wears, because I think they've worn those. I think they've had those same uniforms since 1983.
Oh my goodness.
They have a red one, a blue one, and a white one, and I think gray now. But you talk to the kids. I mean, we played them 7 or 8 times this year, so you kind of get to know all of them. And you're like, how do you wear those things? You're like, oh, they're hot. That's terrible. You know, it's horrible. So we're fortunate there. We get the breathable ones.
No kidding. Well, once again, I got to thank the sponsors real quick. Our presenting sponsor for this podcast is Everhote Co. I'm going to play a quick ad. Thank you to Everhote Co. And also thank you to all our subscribers on Facebook. For 99 cents per month, you get early access to podcasts like these. So I got to do that salesman stuff, but I got to keep the people.
Yeah, I joined your 99-cent thing a month. So
I appreciate that. So that means that means more to me than anything, because that means you believe in me and you like what I'm doing. So it keeps me going. It's only 99 cents. So I thank you for that.
You do a good job. You do a good thing for the kids. I mean, they all the ones, I didn't know who you were until they started talking about you this summer and you know, promote them and support them and you know, they met you in the mall and got a big picture with you, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like I said, anytime you want to come up here or we're down there, you come in our dugout, say hi or whatever. We full access to it. We have no problems with that. We're pretty late.
I want to come up. I got family in Crawfordsville, so I need to come up and visit them anyway. And I want to swing by. I go to the rodeo in Crawfordsville from time to time as well. So I get up there. I didn't realize baseball season, softball season was so busy. With my 2 daughters and then all the sports coverage, I was like, oh, this is a lot.
I mean, what, 37 games in 2 months?
Yeah, times 92. So it was a lot. But yeah, I definitely want to come check out a game at North Montgomery and maybe hit up Arnie's Pizza or wherever you think is a good place to go eat after the game. But yeah, so I'm going to come up next year. I'm marking that down on the calendar. I promise you I'll be there. But thank you again for talking with me and taking the time.
Thanks for having me on here.
So we will see you all later. Take care. Keep pushing.